Imagine getting a Peugeot Expert van into your workshop and the customer complaint is that the van is a complete no crank, no start. There are no warning messages in the dash, and when you hook up your scan tool, there are either no fault code stored or there might be a fault code stored in the BSI module for the starter motor not being activated. There's nothing wrong with the starter motor, but if you don't have the right background information, this fault can be quite tricky and time-consuming to diagnose. That's why in this video we're going to take a closer look to Bulletin 11932. This platform is shared between different brands, so the bulletin also applies to those models. We see this fault so many times on our help desk that we not only made a bulletin for it, but I also decided to make this dedicated video. When you get one of these vans into your workshop with these symptoms, we often see that there are either no fault codes stored at all in any of the modules, or there might be one or two fault codes stored in the BSI module for the starter motor not being activated. The BSI sets this fault code when it expects the starter motor to crank, but it doesn't detect a voltage drop. In other words, it's supposed to crank, but it doesn't. The reason why this fault can be so tricky to diagnose is because we usually see it after somebody has tampered with the OE software. We usually see this fault when somebody has performed an AdBlue delete. Now, since these vans are quite known for their AdBlue problems and fixing those problems can be quite expensive, many customers, although it's illegal, go for the option to get the software for the AdBlue system deleted. Or even worse, some workshops might tell the customer they have fixed the issue, but in reality they have deleted the AdBlue system without the customer even knowing about it. In many cases we have seen that they have deleted the software for the AdBlue system in such a way that you no longer get a countdown in your instrument cluster, you get no warning messages in your instrument cluster, you get no fault codes for the AdBlue system, but somehow they missed a little piece of software that prevents the engine from cranking or starting when there's something wrong with the AdBlue system. What happens is, despite of the AdBlue software delete, all the physical components of the AdBlue system are still there. And we know there are AdBlue delete files, and I'm not saying this is true for every file, but we see it very often, so there must be many, that prevent the system from setting fault codes, prevent the system from starting a countdown in the instrument cluster, but don't actually prevent the countdown from happening inside the control unit. And since all the physical components are still there, the system is still able to measure the AdBlue level, for instance, and when the AdBlue level is low or when the tank is empty, it will start the countdown, but there's no way of warning the driver. This means that the no crank, no start comes as a complete surprise to the driver. And when the van is towed into his shop, the AdBlue system is not the first thing that comes to the technician's mind, because there was no countdown in the dash and there are completely no fault codes stored for the AdBlue system. This usually means that the technician goes down the wrong path, and this results in the job becoming too time-consuming and very expensive for the customer. We have seen this exact same failure so many times on our help desk that of course we have made a bulletin. And in this bulletin we will tell you that the quick fix is adding 10 liters of AdBlue and resetting the AdBlue countdown with the scan tool, and after that the van will start again. But of course, the real fix is getting the original software reinstalled in the vehicle and fixing whatever made the customer decide to do the AdBlue delete in the first place. If you're also interested in getting access to this bulletin or thousands like it, go to diagnosedan.com, select DDTSB and read all about how our platform can help your business save time, money, and stress.